To be a short practice to perhaps break up your day, undo some time you may have spent sitting, and just bring a little awareness into your body and your breath and where you may be holding a little tension. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat. Maybe that's at your desk, or maybe it's on the floor or on the couch, wherever feels right. And just begin to place your hands onto your knees or your thighs and feel that connection of your sit bones to the earth beneath you. And then giving yourself just a few cycles of grounding breaths here to arrive. If it feels good for you, maybe you close down the eyes or let your gaze just land down over the bridge of your nose. And then begin to become a little more acquainted with your breath. Perhaps welcoming the flow of the breath in through the nose and then back out through the nose. Following the breath in as it moves along the length of your spine and following the breath back out. And just taking this opportunity to slow down the body. Slow down the breath and in turn to hopefully slow down the chatter in the mind. And if your eyes are closed, maybe you gently blink them open. And then on your next inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears and take them down onto your back. So just invite some gentle movement here, becoming a little more aware of any tension that you may or may not be holding on to. Tuning into the textures, the sensations, noticing how it feels in this part of your body here today. And then let's begin to make those movements a little bigger as we free the hands away from the knees or the thighs, bring the arms all the way up, maybe follow the gaze between the hands. And then exhale, take the hands down through heart center. Let's do that again 2 more times. Inhale here, reaching up and overhead. Exhale, take the hands down through to heart center. Inhale, reaching on up. Maybe this time you sigh the exhale away, noticing how that feels in your body and also your mind. As you inhale, bring the hands back up, and I'll invite you to lower that right hand down just outside the right hip and let the left hand land on or near that right ear. And just using the weight of that hand to invite a beautiful stretch into the right side of the neck. Maybe this is where you stay or you walk the fingers a little further away. Or it may feel quite lovely to bend the right elbow and bring the back of the hand to the back of the left hip. Exploring, maybe bringing the gaze down towards the left hip region. Maybe trace a line with your nose on an angle. Work into any areas that are giving you a little feedback here. On the next inhale, bring both hands all the way up. And switching it out, lower the left hand down as the right lands on or near that left ear. Same thing, opposite side, maybe the fingers walk a little further away. Maybe you bend that elbow, back of the hand to the back of the right hip. And it's up to you to discover where it feels best to gaze. Maybe inviting a little movement or just enjoying that stillness. Again, follow that breath in. Follow that breath back out. On the next inhale, free both hands up. Let's invite a little space over into the side body as we let that right hand drop and reach over towards the right with the left arm. You can gaze down, straight ahead, or maybe up towards the sky. And from here, let's take it up and over to the other side. So the left hand lowers and lean all the way over to that side. Inhale, bring yourself up, reach a little higher, and then invite a twist over to the right. So your left hand lands on or near that right near thigh. And the right hand is behind you, acting as a kickstand. Now perhaps you hang out here, or release that right hand straight back behind you. So the arm is parallel to the floor. And then begin to draw an arc with that right hand as you unwind. You may need to lift the left knee, bring the right hand there so the arms are crossed, and lean back, perhaps curl the chin in towards the chest. Breathing a little more space into the upper back, across the shoulder blade region. Gently release without slingshotting. Carry the arms all the way up and overhead. Lift a little higher, and then invite that twist over to the left. Visualizing the crown of the head shining up towards the sky. And as you breathe in here, may you feel a sense of presence. As you breathe out, can you feel relaxed? Let that left hand drift away from the floor if you wish. And then on the next inhale, begin to draw that arc as you unwind out of the twist. Place the left hand onto the right knee so the arms are crossed, and just lean back here again. Breathing into it. Staying for that exhale. Gently release the hands away, and then once more bring the arms all the way up. Reaching for something awesome, perhaps a gigantic sigh out. Letting go of tension. Take your time to find your way onto hands and knees. Now, if you are at your seat, you can stay on your seat, or if you're at your desk, you can stay on your seat and just kind of come to the edge of the seat and take your hands back onto your knees. And we're going to explore some cat and cow movements. So moving the spine in two different directions. So whether you're seated or you're on hands and knees, inhale, let the belly drift forward. Crown of the head and tailbone reach towards the sky or behind you if you're on your seat. And then transition through to our cat pose as we round into the upper back, curl the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, drop the belly. Come back to that cow belly pose. And then exhale, round, slowly transition. Just taking your time to explore. Maybe you gaze out over one shoulder to the hip and then to the other side, whatever intuitive movement comes to mind here. And then on your own time, come back to that tabletop shape. So keeping those hips stacked over the knees, start to walk the hands towards the top of the mat and begin to allow the forehead to lower down towards the floor. So if it doesn't land on your mat or the floor, bring something to your forehead to support it. So maybe that means bending an elbow and supporting your forehead with your forearm. Or maybe it's a block or a pillow off the couch. If you're seated at your desk, you can create a little space between your desk and where you're sitting and place your hands onto the edge of the table of your desk. And just let the upper body kind of drop. So you invite a nice sense of space into the chest, the shoulders, the upper back. This is a pose called puppy. Breathing in, find that sense of presence. And breathing out, allow yourself to feel a little more relaxed, even if only for this breath in and this breath out. Taking your time to come out of this shape, slowly lift the hips away from the heels, draw the hands back underneath the shoulders, and then tuck the toes, walk the hands back towards the knees so you can come into a little squat near the back of your mat. Lifting the hips away from the floor, hang out here in a really relaxed standing forward fold. So you can have the backs of the hands come in contact with the floor, a big bend in the knees, maybe a little sway from side to side. You can also reach for opposite elbow with opposite hand and just let your body hang out here, letting the upper body get rather heavy. When you feel called to come back to a place of stillness, just let the hands drift away from the elbows if they were there. Bring a little bit of a bigger bend into the knees. Ground the feet into the floor and slowly, one vertebra at a time, stacking the knees over the ankles, the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the hips. Bring yourself up to a comfortable standing shape. And just let that settle. So finding how it feels to be standing for the first time in our practice so far today. Bring the shoulders on up towards your ears and take them down onto your back. And make that conscious effort to squeeze the shoulder blades together and down at the back. And just as a practice of contrast, let all of that relax and notice what happens. You may notice that your shoulders start to round. I'm really exaggerating here, but just once again, draw the shoulder blades together and down and just take the time to really see how that feels. From here, I'll invite you to bring the arms up and overhead. Hold on to your left wrist with your right hand and just draw that arc over towards the right side of your space. Bringing a sense of length and spaciousness into the left side of the body. As you inhale, bring yourself back upright. Hold on to that right wrist and then draw it over towards the left side. Crescent moon here, welcoming a sense of space into that right side of the body. As you inhale, come back upright. Bring the hands back down towards heart center. Pausing there, letting the hands drift back down alongside your hips. Take a moment here, and we'll just explore a little sun breath. So inviting a little bit of movement just to get some energy flowing and maybe stoke the fire just a touch. So as you breathe in, can you soften the knees, reach the hands down and around and up and overhead. And then as you exhale, dive forward to hinge at the hips and find a standing forward fold. You can bend the knees as much as you need here. As you inhale, create length through the spine. Visualize the crown of the head reaching as far forward as it can. Exhale, fold forward again. Breathe in, coming up all the way upright. Bring the arms around and up and overhead. Exhale, take the hands through heart center. Let the hands drop. Let's do that again 2 more times just to get a little more energy moving. Reach down and up and overhead. And these movements can be as big or as small as you wish. Never worrying about what it looks like, but really enjoy how it feels. Lift halfway, broaden across the chest, the collarbones. Exhale, fold forward again. Proudly lead with your chest as you bring yourself up and overhead. And as the arms arrive up, let's dive forward. Come right on back into it. Standing forward fold. One last time. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bring yourself back upright. Maybe this time as you reach up, you bring the fingertips towards the wall behind you. And then a beautiful sigh out here. Hands arrive down on either side of your body. Take a moment, let all of that settle. And before we come back down onto our seat, let's just challenge our balance. So if you know that that's tricky for you, maybe you go near a wall and use that as an extra sense of stability. Or you can bring your hands onto your hips. And starting with the right foot, just begin to shift the weight of your body there. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's where you challenge your balance today, or you pick up your left heel. Maybe you start to spiral that left knee over to the left side of your room and bring the sole of that foot anywhere on the standing leg to find a tree pose here. And it helps to look at something that is not moving. And maybe you let your gaze land there. You can explore different arm variations once again. Maybe your hands at heart center, maybe you grow your branches. Or if you've been sitting at your desk all day, my favorite, bring the fists behind the back. So you get a sense of space, of openness into the chest, the shoulders, the upper back once more. Breathing in, feel that sense of presence. Breathing out, feel a little more relaxed, even here in tree pose. Bring your hands back towards heart center, spiral that left knee close, embrace the wobbles, and then let that left foot drop. Give the hips a little sway, whatever happened there, it's done. And then we'll reset by shifting the weight of our body into our left foot. Spiral or lift that right heel, maybe this is your tree pose. Perhaps you start to spiral the right knee open. And then you can explore maybe going exactly where you just were, or maybe trying something different as you place that left or right foot, into the left thigh, and then the left thigh or left standing leg, anywhere at all, into that right foot. Explore different arm variations, whatever calls out to you on this side. Me, I really enjoy connecting the fists behind my back, so I'm going to give that a go once more here. And can you find length anywhere at all? When you feel ready to come out, let's start to bring our hands back towards one another first. Spiral that right knee close. Step the foot down and give the hips a little sway here. And no fancy way to find our way down. Let's come back down to our seat or maybe into your chair. And as you arrive, I'm going to invite you to extend your legs out in front of you here. So, and again, you can have your feet on the floor if you're in your chair. So just start to draw your left knee in towards your chest, and then pick up the left foot and see if you can open up the hip to make an upside down number 4 shape with your leg. So taking a seated variation on pigeon today. So perhaps this is where you stay, or if it feels okay for you, you may want to walk the hands slightly forward. And just notice if this brings a little more awareness into that outer left hip region. For some of us, we may feel sensation in other areas as well. And if you can, just hang out here for a couple cycles of your unique breath. Following the breath in and following the breath back out. One more inhale. Stay for that exhale. And wherever you are, just slowly, gently bring yourself back upright. Maybe pause there first. And then extend that left leg long. Maybe windshield wiper the feet, any movement, or maybe you enjoy stillness. And then we'll bring that over to the other side as we draw the right knee in. You can lift that right foot, cross the ankle onto the thigh, remembering that one side may show up completely differently than the other. So this may be where you land, or you start to walk forward, finding your edge, whatever that looks like for you on this side. Also a really lovely shape to do regularly when you're sitting at your desk. Our hips tend to get a little tight and unhappy with us with all that sitting, in addition to our shoulders and upper back region. So taking the time to invite a sense of peace and presence into our day, into our bodies, and into our minds can be really quite beneficial. Inhale, bring yourself back upright. And then just extend that right leg long, letting it settle, maybe a little windshield wipering of the feet. And finding your way into your comfortable seated shape here. Ending exactly where we began. And for today, maybe you place one hand to your heart and a hand to your belly. Notice if you can just become a little more acquainted with the rate, the rhythm, flow of your breath. Once again, slowing down the breath in, slowing down the breath out. Breathing in, I'm present. Breathing out, I am relaxed. Taking one more slow, intentional breath in. And an even slower, more intentional breath out. On the next inhale, can you gently reach the arms up and overhead, gaze between the palms, and then invite the most gigantic sigh out. Thank you for inviting me into your day. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.